So, it's only me from Death Films here, but I just came back from seeing The Great Wall with Matt Damon and Pedro Pascal and so whatnot. And well, we decided to just make a video, a review of it, because it hasn't been released in our country, so it's, a lot of people, appreciate watching a review so they know how the movie is before they go and watch it, right? I'll tell you when it's spoiler, I guess. And right now we're here in Mexico, so we saw it earlier than in most European countries or Western countries. The movie is around 2 hours long, I think, and it starts out with Matt Damon as like a mercenary type guy, and they're on their way to China to find black powder. So they never really tell us at what age it is based on, but because there's before black powder era and before they even know about it, or like myths and like legends about black powder in the Western countries, I guess it would be around like the 14th century maybe, or maybe even earlier. But no, it has to be earlier actually. It has to be doing like the one like early Middle Ages, something like that. Or so either way, as I get it, they're on their way to China, like a mercenary crew, but most of them are already dead, so it's only him and like 2 other guys. And on their way, they get attacked by this monster, and then they kill the monster, get his arm, and then they get captured by the Chinese. And then obviously they tell the Chinese about the monster, and then realize that the Chinese have built this Great Wall, which is the Great Wall of China, that is supposed to protect against these monsters. At first, obviously, Matt Damon and whatnot, I call it Matt Damon, them are hesitant to help them, but then eventually, they start helping them to find out what is going on. So pretty much what you can see in the trailer is what you see battles against the wall, and we actually only get like 2 battles that's on the wall. We get one which is like a big battle in the beginning, we see all the action, and then we see another one which is like in the fog, and I guess it's okay. And then afterwards we get another fight, but I'm not gonna tell you what it is because it's too much spoiler section then. But either way, so we get some like 3 or 4 battles, I would say, and it's pretty cool. I thought the monster design was pretty cool too. It was different than I've seen before. And then they have some like monsters that were like really big, but they never go into action. We never see them actually fight. We see like the protecting. So there's different types of monsters, but we only see one in actual battle. So that's a little bit a shame actually. We'd like to see other ones too. And then I guess story-wise it's pretty simple. It's just them helping out and see what happens, right? And character-wise, I would say they're pretty flat characters. Not that much into them. I like Pedro Pascal. He's the you could say comedic one. Does all the jokes with Matt Damon. And then the other Chinese actors, I don't know their names. Never heard of them before, but they did an okay, decent job. I would say some of them were a little bit, stale. Some of the dialogues when they speak in English, but other than that, I think it was all right. But otherwise, the characters wasn't really that strong, to be honest. And the action was okay, but story-wise is classical story is what I expected. I could tell what was going on when I saw the movie. I could almost guess what was supposed to happen afterwards. So the plot is also pretty weak, to be honest, but it's still an interesting film. It's cool to see like medieval stuff against monsters, and it has some cool moments, has great moments in it. But I would say it's maybe a 5 out of 10 average movie, I would say. So it's pretty much what I expected. What you see in the trailer is what you get. So it didn't really higher my expectations, but it was just what I expected from it. So I came in with okay expectations of the movie. So an overall okay film, I guess. It's it's what you get. It doesn't deliver anything worse, but it doesn't deliver anything any better either. So it's like what you see is what you get, and it's okay. And now we get into spoilers. So spoiler-wise, we get to find out that these aliens, or that's what they are, because they come down from a meteor, and they try to put in this thing like it's because of greed, and try to put in this like the reason why this happened. But I would say it's also very used to put in some type of message to the public, but it was also pretty badly delivered. So they come down from a meteor, and that is the explanation of why these monsters exist. And then I started thinking of why, because they build this Great Wall, right? And the monsters are only in one certain location. Why didn't you just build a wall around them in that case? Because they come out every 60 years, is what happens. So every 60 years, the monsters come back to attack. And then they feed this queen, which is the leader, and if the queen is fed enough, they could like spread over all over the world. So what I don't get is, during those 60 years, they should just build around this area where all the monsters are, instead of like all the way stretched to Mongolia. But I guess it's, you know, because it's already built, so they had to just continue on, you know, because it's obviously based on nothing. They say legends, but we don't really know. I think it's just made for the movie. Some of that logic is a bit bad. They should just build the wall around them instead. And then you have these like, they have different types of troops. Some are like just normal infantry, some are archers, and some like jump down the wall with like bungee jump with like spears. And that didn't make sense at all, because when they jump down, they had like the spear which is stick on the monster when it's close, and then they jump back up. But then they lose the spear because you see them jumping back up, and then they throw the spear so they get another one. So it's obviously like, you know, like ammunition for them. And it doesn't really make sense. Why would he jump down to expose himself to the monster just to poke them once, then come back up? They might as well just be standing up on the wall throwing spears at them. So that didn't really make sense for me. Because then there was another type of troop that like have this rope around them, but they're still standing on the wall fighting the monsters as they climb up. And that made more sense instead of them just jumping down, poking, and jumping up. Because that's much more exposed. Other than that, I think like some parts of the wall were pretty like amazing feats for like medieval ages, but again, they built the wall, so I guess we shouldn't really be talking about the logic when it's monsters too involved. And then I would say they fight on the wall, Matt Damon and them start helping them out, and eventually capture one of the monsters and find out that a magnet is what keeps them like asleep. But then what they didn't know is that the monster they capture was actually like part of the queen's plan. They don't really mention it, but that's what I think happened, because in one part they take the monster all the way to like the Emperor of China, right? And then they like are starting to experiment with it, and it wakes up when they like are experimenting, and that somehow sends a signal to the queen. And then we see like all them running, like the big horde, and they stop, and then like the queen is like, okay, it's over there, and run at the city, while they were already in front of the city. So that also was pretty weird, but I think that was the plan, because they what happens is that they make a hole underneath the wall, and that's their plan to make it true. So eventually they go back, they come to the city, they fly over there with some like balloons, the good guys, because the city is pretty far away. And then in the city they're fighting the monsters. And already there also some of the logic, because I get that you could hold off the monsters, the big horde, when they're on the wall. And the monsters almost win in the first battle. They almost get up to the wall, and that was just like a battle that lasted for like 10 minutes. And then when they're fighting in the city, they only make it to halfway through, and there's no walls or anything. Sure, some walls, but they're pretty small and just normal infantry. So what I don't get is how they could take so much longer getting into the city than the wall. Because it always is to make time for the main characters to get over there. But so they get there, and then they pretty much kill the queen, which kills off the rest of the monsters. And I could already see that coming. Like, you could just kill the queen and then they're all dead. So all the like plot points was pretty obvious what's going to happen. And yeah, I think the outfits were cool. It gave me a vibe of the movie Hero with Jet Li, and another movie too, which reminded me of. I don't remember what it's called, but here's a photo of it, and it's like a golden army fighting like a silver army, and those type of outfits is what it reminded me of. That type of like Chinese culture, or like that type of like armor fighting style too, a bunch of spears and stuff like that. So that type of like, it's what you expect. That's type of fighting, at least. I'm a big fan of the like Red Cliff series, so I expected more that type of battles, but it's fine because it's fighting against monsters instead. So yeah, that's pretty much it from me. So again, 5 out of 10, decent average movie. What you see in the trailers, what you get, it was just what I saw is what I expected from the movie. So I'm not disappointed, but I'm not, overly, excited about it either. So if you're bored one day, if feel like watching something you haven't seen before, watch it on Netflix. I would say not really go to the movies to see it, unless you're really a big fan of like Chinese cinema. So yeah, it's getting dark here and Color Beasts are leaving. So that's pretty much it from us Death Films, or me Death Films. I'm just gonna leave now.